And we are back together again. Oh, it's so nice to be with you. Did you miss me during the week? I know I wasn't on very much, but I was having a little break from all of this. Anyway, we are back together, coming to you live from the birthplace of the English language. You know where it is. We all know where it is. It is England. We are back together. We are now here with you, definitely live. Just to prove it, I am late. It's 8 minutes past 2 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon. Hi everybody. This is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you feeling happy today? That is the big question. Are you happy right now? I hope you are feeling good today. I'm not too bad. I've had a little rest. Of course, last week was also busy because last week it was my birthday. Last Monday we had the most amazing time. Mr. Steve gave me a very big surprise. Let's just say it was something I will never forget. And guess what? We will all be taking a look at it today. Something nice to look at. I suppose I should mention first of all, I don't know what happened last night, but I woke up in the early hours of this morning at around about 4 o'clock, 4 a.m., feeling a little unwell. For some reason, I have a bad stomach, an upset stomach, which means during today's live stream, if I suddenly disappear, I might be somewhere else in the house having my own live stream, if you get what I mean. And I have a feeling you might, if you understand my rather odd sense of humour. Anyway, we are here and we are live right now. So I hope you've had a good week. I had a wonderful week. We've been out and about as well. Mr. Steve has had some time off. I'm still not sure. And if you are with your partner for a long period of time, but normally you're not with them for a long period of time, it can be rather stressful. Now, I remember during the pandemic. Who remembers that? Do you remember that? The pandemic? Wasn't that fun? A lot of people were being forced together in relationships, maybe a husband or wife, boyfriend and girlfriend who were living together. And normally in their day-to-day life, they don't spend much time together. However, during that dreadful period of time where many people were in lockdown, we were all forced together. And apparently during that time, there were many people separating and also getting divorced during lockdown because they realised rather disturbingly that they could not stand each other's company permanently. So you often find this. I think it's healthy in a relationship to have your own space, to have your own time away from each other. But unfortunately, if you spend too much time together, it can cause stress. So we were together quite a lot over the past few days. I suppose the big question is, did it cause any stress or anxiety between us? Find out a little bit later on. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, of course I am talking about this man. Mr. Steve will be with us in around about, I would say, 17 minutes from now. And we might need Mr. Steve today because my stomach is unwell. I have a poorly stomach. Let's just say last night I was spending a lot of time in the bathroom. That's all I'm saying for now. I don't feel too bad now, but you never know in this world. You never know what will happen next, especially when it's live. So this guy right here, this man will be with us in around about 16 minutes from now. Mr. Steve will be here. I hope you are okay today. I hope you are having a good time. We have the live chat as well. The live chat is very busy. Oh, hello to the live chat. Nice to see you here today. Hello to Vitas. Guess what, Vitas? It's true. You are first on today's live chat. Very, very first. You are the champion, as they say. Also, Beatrice just behind Vitas. Also, we have, you know who it is. We all know who it is. Luis Mendez is here today. Hello, Luis. Nice to see you back with us on a Sunday. I'm not sure if you missed us. Maybe you're doing something more exciting than watching me. I don't know, because I wasn't there, you see. Perhaps you can tell me on today's live chat. Yes, you can chat live on here. So you don't just have to watch me. You don't have to listen to me. You can also chat with each other on the live stream as well. We also have Palmyra, Nitram, Inaki, Franco. Hello, Franco. Can I say thank you very much for your lovely donation, by the way, that I received. Thank you very much. Also, Maurizio as well. Thank you very much for your donation. Very kind of you. Thank you very much. I know there is someone else I have to mention. Just give me a moment. I'm going to do something very unusual. There is a donation that I forgot, and now I feel incredibly guilty about it. I will find out a little bit later on. Sorry about that. It's been a very crazy week. That's all I can say. Hello, Abdi. Abdi Nasir is here today. Thank you very much for joining me as well, taking time to join me. Very kind. Isn't that lovely? Thank you very much. Also, we have Andrew Molichikov is here as well. We have some sad news today. I don't normally like to talk about sad things, but if you are a fan of movies, film stars, especially those A-list film stars, sadly, Alain Delon died today, a very famous French movie star. Started off very young. He was found. Did you know that Alain Delon was discovered by accident, by coincidence? This often happens with people who become movie stars or maybe big celebrities in some sort of field. But quite often with movie stars, they are often discovered by chance. And I believe Alain Delon was discovered just after returning from the army. But he had done other things as well. I think for a while he was working as a shop assistant as well. And he appeared in lots of movies. Rocco and His Brothers is a very well-known movie set in Milan, if I'm not mistaken. Way back in 1960, that movie was made. Haven't seen it for a long time. Also, Purple Noon as well, which was made, I think, around 1960 as well. So very sad news. Alain Delon has passed away at the age of 88. I think he was unwell for quite a while. I think he was suffering from ill health for some time. And there was that lovely, I don't know if you've seen it, but he was presented with a wonderful award, I think around about 3 or 4 years ago. A very emotional moment for everyone involved, including him. So, rest in peace. A wonderful actor, very much, I would say, I always think he's very similar, or he was, especially when he was young. Alain Delon was very similar to Tony Curtis. Now, you might say, Mr. Duncan, we disagree with you, but I think he had that same boyish, slightly mischievous twinkle in his eyes. So, very sad news. I don't like talking about famous people passing away. I always like to think our favourite film stars or our favourite celebrities will live forever and ever. And I suppose in many ways they will in our memories. Hello also Farry Borts. You are late, don't worry, so was I. Although I do have a very good excuse. My reason for being late today is a little bit embarrassing. I won't mention it again, just in case you are eating your food. Hello, Hamza. Hamza. Hello, it's nice to see you here. We used to have someone called Hamza on the live chat a long time ago. I don't know if it's you or not. We will have to find out. Hello, Gemstones GMA. Hello, I am watching you from Turkey. It is very nice to hear you. I recommended your channel to my son and also my daughters and all of my friends. Thank you, Gemstones. You are literally a lovely gem for saying that. Thank you very much. Very kind of you to say. Francesco is here as well. Hello, Francesco. Nice to see you here as well. It is a lovely day. A very nice day, even though we have had a little bit of rain, but we did have some wonderful moments during the week. I am going to share with you the wonderful time we had on my birthday. Do you like surprises? I like surprises as long as they are nice surprises. But I don't like horrible surprises. We often refer to them as shocks. I don't like shocks. I don't like horrible surprises. But Mr. Steve gave me a lovely surprise on my birthday. He took me to a place, I would say it is around about 1 hour and 15 minutes away from here, not too far away from where we live, a safari park. That is a clue to what my birthday surprise actually was. Would you like to see it? Okay, here it is right now. This is what Mr. Steve gave to me for my birthday last Monday. Wasn't that lovely? I have to say, and I have to say it, and I will say it again later on. Thank you very much, Mr. Steve, for your lovely birthday present. It was around about 7:45 in the morning. Mr. Steve said, would you like a surprise for your birthday? I said, yes, I love surprises, as long as it's a nice surprise. He said, you will have to get ready because we're going out and I'm going to take you to feed the giraffes at West Midlands Safari Park. So we jumped in the car, we went there, and I have to say it was one of the most magical things I've ever experienced. And of course, you can see here, I have my little giraffe here in the studio. And, well, all I can say, it was absolutely magical. Enjoyed it very much. We had a super time, and we also had something nice to eat as well. We went to a lovely place called Bewdley, where we had something to eat as well. Thank you very much for your lovely greetings on my birthday as well. I did receive a lot of lovely presents from Mr. Steve. Besides feeding the giraffes, Mr. Steve also bought some chocolates, even though from this day, in fact from yesterday, I started yet another diet. I know what you're going to say, Mr. Duncan, you always seem to be going on diets. So I have put a little bit of weight on. So from yesterday I've started my diet, which means I have to cut out all of that horrible food, all of the junk food has to go, unfortunately. So I am going to lose a little bit of weight. To be honest with you, my bad stomach, my rather sensitive stomach, let's just say, has caused me to lose a little bit of weight already, but for not very nice reasons. Do you like surprises? Have you ever received a nice surprise on your birthday or Christmas, or maybe for a special occasion, maybe your wedding anniversary, which is something we will be talking about a little bit later on as well. And exclusively today, I'm going to show you some things that I've never showed before on the live chat, ever. All of that coming up a little bit later on after Mr. Steve joins in on the live chat. Hello to who else is here? Oh, I see. A lot of people are talking about certain countries. Estonia. Estonia is one country being discussed at the moment on the live chat. Can I say a big hello to Indonesia, by the way, because yesterday it was the celebration of independence in Indonesia. But there is something very interesting happening in Indonesia at the moment, because they are creating a new capital city. So as you know, Jakarta is the capital, but unfortunately it has become very crowded. In fact, if you have ever lived in a city, in any city around the world, you will notice they are quite often busy. London is a good example of that type of city where there is almost no room to move around because there are so many people. So yesterday in Indonesia, they were celebrating their Independence Day, and there is a new city being built right now. It hasn't really started yet because there have been some delays. Nusantara is the name of the city, Nusantara. So that is the name of the new city that they're going to create in Indonesia. Very fascinating. You might not even realise, but here in the UK over the past 60, I would say around about the last 60 years, we have created new towns from nothing. So there are a couple of very famous towns that were created after the Second World War. One of them is Milton Keynes. It was built completely from nothing. So a whole town was constructed and Milton Keynes was created. Another town that was built completely from nothing is very close to where I live, a place called Telford. Telford, the town of Telford, was also created as a new town. So I think it's very interesting when we look at these things, how you can create whole towns or even cities from nothing. I know over the past 20 years in China, there have been a lot of new towns and also new cities being built as well. I think India as well has a lot of these large developments where new towns and very large areas have been built for people to live in. Giovanni Rivetti is here as well. Hello, Giovanni Rivetti. We do have a lot of Giovannis watching, which is the reason why sometimes we might get a little bit confused between one Giovanni and another Giovanni. So if that does happen, I do apologise. Hello to Vic. Hello, Vic. Hi, Mr. Steve and Mr. Duncan. Long time. A long time has passed since I've watched a live stream here. I think I remember you. There used to be a person called Vic who used to watch my live streams, and I would always say a special hello because your name is the same as my uncle, my lovely, sadly now departed uncle, and his name was Vic as well. So that's the reason why I always remember your name, because it's the same as my late uncle. Hello, Vic. Anyway, it's nice to see you here today. We are taking a short break and then Mr. Steve will be here. I will give you the warning once again. Mr. Steve will be with us in a few moments from now, and we will be talking about all of the things we've been doing this week during the holiday. We've had a little break. You may have noticed I haven't done much over the past 7 days. We also had my birthday as well. Not only that, but I'm going to show you something that I've never shown before here on the live stream. So please don't go away. Lots of things still to come right here on English Addict. has been so busy in the garden. Of course, that is Mr. Steve. Talking of which, he will be with us in a few moments from now. English Addict on a Sunday. It's a Sunday afternoon. Here he comes then. You know who is coming up next. You know who is about to appear on your screens. It is, of course, the one, the only. Are you excited? I hope you are, because here he comes right now. It's Mr. Steve.
Hello, Mr. Duncan. Hello, wonderful, beautiful viewers from across the globe. Don't get too excited, just in case. I'd rather you come on thinking, oh, this might be all right. This guy might be all right. And then hopefully you'll think, oh, that's better than I thought. I'd rather you be coming on slightly disappointed and then you feel better afterwards, rather than this great fanfare and you're expecting me to perform the whole time. And if I don't, you'll feel deflated and disappointed. So I'd rather you come sort of not expecting much, and then it gets better and you go away feeling better.
We often say to keep your expectations very, very low. Anyway, Mr. Steve is with us today, and I will join him on the screen. We will be together right now. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Technology. Wow. It's so incredible. So it's nice to see you back, Mr. Steve, even though we have spent a lot of time together over the past few days. Has it been enjoyable, though? Has it been good spending time with me?
Oh, you're asking me, are you? Let's just say it's had its ups and downs. It's ups and its downs.
Yeah.
Some ups, but a lot of downs. No, I'm joking. Talking of ups and downs, we were climbing up to the Shropshire Hills, weren't we, the other day?
Yeah, I have. Guess what, Steve? I have some photographs of that very thing. We went out, didn't we? And we went to a lovely part of Shropshire. That is the area in which we live, a wonderful place called the Stiper Stones, and there it is, very high up, around 1,500 feet above everything else, and you can see there are some rock formations there, and they are quite old, millions of years old. In fact, they date from before all of the ice ages. And that's why they still remain, because they were actually poking out above all of the ice as it formed. And then everything underneath, of course, was worn away because of erosion. But you have those lovely little formations of rock, and you can go up if you are feeling healthy and fit. Then you can go up to the top of the Stiper Stones, a very fascinating place. Here we are, Mr. Steve. Look.
Oh, yes. We actually looked quite happy there, didn't we, Mr. Duncan?
That was one of the few happy moments from during the week.
Yes. It was fun, though. We had some exercise. We did about 8,000 steps.
Yeah.
And we saw a few people up there. It's a strange area because it gets very, very cold in the winter. And the only plant that can really survive in those harsh, windy conditions is the heather that you can see there. Heather, which is very hardy, can withstand very dry conditions, very cold, windy, dry conditions. Has a lovely purple flower. And there's lots of it all over the Shropshire Hills.
Yeah, so there you can see a wonderful view, looking at the rocks and then looking into the distance. So I think it's one of the most amazing places to walk up to if you are feeling fit and healthy. The only thing I would say is you do need to wear very strong shoes or boots. Now, we saw some people walking up there, didn't we, Steve? And they were not wearing boots. They were just wearing very lightweight sandals or flip-flops.
Yes, because the main path that has been constructed that go up to the Stiperstones from the main car park has been constructed out of the broken bits of rock that you find at the top, which is all frost damage, probably over thousands of years, and that's what the path looks like. So it's not a smooth path.
No, it's not something you want to walk across if you are just wearing lightweight shoes. So we did see quite a few people going up. There was one couple, and there was a young man with obviously his girlfriend, and she was wearing just a pair of lightweight flip-flops with no shoe, no socks, nothing protecting her feet. And we were just wondering how they were going to manage.
You could very easily, because that path goes on for hundreds and hundreds of yards or meters, you could very easily break your ankle with one misstep.
Yeah.
Or twist your ankle. It's strange that they constructed it in that way, but they used the material that was up there, which is very uneven, jagged rocks.
I'm going to go one step further, Steve, and say some of those rocks have always been there. So maybe as things have happened over hundreds of thousands of years, so those rocks have slowly been dispersed. But it is the most amazing place, and we had a wonderful time. Very local, not very far away from here, and it is a very interesting place of, I suppose you would call it, of archaeological interest.
Yes, it's significant. It just shows you actually just how much damage, how far the ice sheets. What was about 200, 300,000 years ago, something like that?
We're talking millions of years.
The last ice age,
yes,
I think, was around...
With each ice age that comes along. So there wasn't just one, of course. It would happen again and again. So those tiny formations, well, I say tiny, they are large. But when you compare them with the rest of the area, they do seem rather small. But it is incredible. You can go up there and you can touch this rock that has seen so much of Earth's history. It's quite amazing when you think about it.
And it's easy to get to. You can drive there from our house, takes about 50 minutes, and then you can walk up in half an hour. You can go an easy way or a difficult way. A difficult way would take you an hour. But there's one car park which you can park and walk up very easily.
Yes.
That a lot of people do. And we had a little picnic up there. We had a sandwich.
Yes, the biggest sandwich I think I've ever eaten. It was absolutely huge. It was like eating a whole loaf of bread. It was quite amazing. It was quite windy. We did do a short video up there as well, even though it was quite windy. Not only that, Mr. Steve, last week a lot of things were going on, weren't they?
You mean on a particular day?
Last Monday.
Last Monday was...
It was my birthday last Monday.
Oh, yes.
And Mr. Steve gave me a very lovely treat. We will take another look at the video that I showed about 10 minutes ago. We will have another look in a moment. But not only that, and this is an interesting thing, Steve, not only that, but my birthday is also the day when that's us, when we first met. Way back, and this is incredible, even I can't believe it, Steve, and I was there, way back in the 1980s, right at the end of the 1980s, but we met on my birthday, so it's very easy to remember when we actually first met each other. And I'm going to show you something I've never shown before, ever, on the live stream. ever. I've never shown this, but you are about to see us in 1989, and not only that, but they are the first photographs we ever took of each other, because I went round to Mr. Steve's flat and I had a little camera, not a very expensive camera, and I took a couple of pictures.
Oh, God. I haven't seen these, have I, for a long, long time.
You haven't seen these for a long time, Mr. Steve, but you're about to. So prepare yourself. This is what Mr. Steve and myself looked like when we first met way back in 1989. And they're at the...
Oh, God.
Now, can you guess which is which? Well,
one of us hasn't changed at all. The other one looks somewhat older.
I think we've both got older, to be honest. So on the right, you can see Mr. Steve looking very young, very fresh. And on the left, you can see me. Of course, you know it's me.
What's that stuff on the top of my head, Mr. Duncan?
Yeah,
There's some
what's
kind of
that?
brown... There's something brown growing on the top of my head.
Yes. And mine.
What is it?
We were so young back then. I was 24 when that picture was taken. And Mr. Steve was 28.
I would have been 28, that's right.
So that's when we met. And the interesting thing is, in that photograph, Steve, I am wearing virtually the same clothes I wore when we met a few weeks before. So this was taken on the 11th of November 1989, and a few weeks after we first met. So those jeans that I'm wearing are the same jeans that I wore the night we met. Isn't that? Oh, it's so lovely, so romantic. And there you have it. So we never forget. We can never forget, can we, Steve, when we first met? Because every time my birthday comes around...
Yes, yeah. And also on the evening of your birthday, on the 12th of August every year, the Perseid meteorites or meteors come round.
Yes.
And they're ascendant, so they're maximum. They're there for a few days every year, but they peak at around 1-2 p.m. in the UK.
Yes.
If you look into the northeastern sky, and there's like we watched them this year. We sat in the garden looking up at the sky. There were no clouds. It was perfect viewing conditions, and you could meteors rather, about one every minute, streaking past.
It was magical.
It was magical. I think you can see that anywhere in the northern hemisphere.
So that happens every year on my birthday. A huge meteor shower goes across the sky, and here in the UK we have the most wonderful view of that particular thing. So there is a lot going on. Not only that, there is more, Mr. Steve. Oh my goodness.
More?
There is more. Because last year we decided to make it official with the civil partnership, and I know a lot of people are going to write in and complain. I know. It happens every time I mention it. Oh, Mr. Duncan, that's wrong. That's wrong. It's against everything. Oh, you shouldn't be doing that. Anyway, let's just say I couldn't care less what you think. Here is Mr. Steve and myself on our special day last year, which was on the 11th of August, the day before my birthday. So this is the first time I've ever shown any photographs from that day. And this will be the only photograph you will ever see. So this was on the day we decided to make our civil partnership official. So there it was. And that's it. You won't be seeing that photograph ever again.
Why not?
I don't know. I just don't feel like it.
I was just going to make a comment. Just going back to Giovanni Orevetti.
Mm-hmm.
Asked if the car park is free at the top of the Stiper Stones. Yes, it is. It's all free. So I thought I'd answer that one. There was another question or something I was going to comment on, but I can't find it now. Never mind. Oh, yes. Also, in 1989, VTAS points out the Berlin Wall came down.
A few
yes.
weeks. Well, it was just I think it was around the same time we met.
Yeah.
I think it was a few weeks before. So 1989. I don't know why. 1989 was a very busy year. All sorts of things were happening in that year. Not only Mr. Steve and myself meeting for the first time. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. As I talked about earlier, this is something I mentioned earlier, Steve, about people who are not normally together all the time are suddenly forced together. And I mentioned the during the pandemic when lots of people were forced to stay together or be together, especially in relationships such as marriages. And during that time, a lot of people did get divorced, didn't they?
They did. Well, because normally it's very common, isn't it, in relationships, particularly when you're both working and you might have children, that you hear a lot of parents saying that they don't see much of each other because one's getting up maybe before the other one, or they're both going out of the house, doing their different jobs. They come back 6 o'clock at night or something, have a quick meal. One might be doing something else. There's housework. There's other things to be doing. And yes, and then suddenly, so you might only spend, in an average working day, you might only spend sort of 3 hours together. And you're spending 8 hours at work, 3 hours actually together or less, and the rest of the time sleeping. And then suddenly you're thrust together during the pandemic. We can use that phrase, thrust together.
Yeah.
If you're thrust together, it means you're forced together unexpectedly or maybe against your will due to circumstances, which in this case was the pandemic, and thrust together and 24/7 you're with that person that you're only spending maybe 2 or 3 hours every day with.
And do you know what this proves? This proves quite well that in a relationship it is healthy not to spend all of your time together. I think it is part of a healthy relationship if you are doing your own things. For example, Steve, you do your singing, you go out at night, you have other things going on, and of course Mr. Steve is still working. He went back to work a few months ago. So I think it is healthy in a relationship to spend some time apart, not too long, but a period of time.
Yes, only sort of 90-95%. I wouldn't go any further than that, Mr. Duncan. But no, you do, because nobody's perfect. We've all got our faults, and if those faults are on display all the time, they become annoyances. And yes, you have to make allowances and whatever, but you need a break sometimes from each other. I think it is healthy. Trum Ong, hello Trum Ong, says that in 1989 my village got electricity.
Wow.
So blimey, a lot of things happening in 1989.
Now,
so whereabouts is that?
That will be Vietnam.
Right.
I have a theory about this because a lot of amazing things did happen in 1989. Not just us meeting, but a lot of other things as well. And I have a feeling a lot of people, a lot of things were being developed and things were happening because it was the end of the 1980s. So we always like to think that we are preparing for the new decade before it arrives. I do remember very clearly, Steve, all of the excitement when 2000 was approaching. So in 1999, everyone was really, really excited about the new millennium because we all thought that the world was going to change in a very dramatic way, and quite often maybe those things would be positive things. Of course, as we all found out, it wasn't quite so. Oh, do you want to see a photograph of Mr. Steve and myself together in 2001? Here it is. Oh my goodness, I am really spoiling you. Look how young Mr. Steve looks.
Oh, thanks.
He has such a lovely baby face.
I haven't changed a bit.
You look like a baby.
I've still got that until recently. So when was that, Mr. Duncan?
2001.
2001. Well, I've still got that top I'm wearing, that coat.
It's like a fleecy coat.
Like a fleecy coat. I've still got that. I use it when I'm in the garden now because it looks a bit faded. And until last year, I still had that hat. And I was using that in the garden, and it eventually just fell to pieces.
Yes.
I don't throw anything out until it falls apart.
You are right.
I've still got that top. Whatever that make is, it's very good because I must have had it at least 24. Well, I've had it at least 25 years.
Yeah. Well, that was in 2001. So yes, at least I think you bought that at the end of the 1990s. So you've probably had that for about 25 years.
At least, I would say.
But who is that handsome man on the left, I wonder? He looks so handsome.
What happened to him?
Yes. and you can see there, I still have my hair, and I was quite slim at that time. Also, you can see that it looks as if some of my teeth are missing, but they're not.
Marshmallow says that you still look young.
Oh, thank you very much.
Well, that's it. We all change. There's a lot of people on holiday at the moment.
It is true.
On our live stream. It's holiday season, of course. We say holiday season, the time when a lot of people typically or traditionally go on holiday because the schools are, at least in the UK, the schools are not sitting at the moment.
No.
The schools are off until September.
Yes, well, our school holiday in the summer is very long. It's around about 6 weeks. So most of the kids will go back around the 1st or 2nd of September. But we do have 6 weeks holiday. The schools will close for 6 weeks.
And we've noticed a lot of our regular friends on the live stream here are currently on holiday or have just been on holiday. Christina is somewhere in the French Alps, I think.
Yeah. Christina always seems to be on holiday.
Christina lives this wonderful life of touring from one beautiful location to another.
Christina, can I just ask, what is your secret? How are you able to have what seems like a never-ending holiday? You always seem to be in a different part of the world, normally somewhere that looks amazing.
It's always somewhere amazing. Christina likes the hills because or the mountains because it's cool. Because at the moment, of course, particularly in southern Europe, like Italy, it's sort of in the mid-30s at least. And I know I would find that very difficult. I think even people who are born there find that difficult. So some people, like Christina, go off for a nice holiday up in the mountains where it's nice and cool. And we know Beatrice does that as well. Maurizio.
Now, are you going to tell me that Maurizio is also on holiday?
Is also on holiday in an island called Elba, which I remembered was the same island that Napoleon Bonaparte was exiled to at some point. So I did wonder whether Maurizio had been exiled there on purpose. Maybe his wife had sent him there.
Yes.
But no, it was a wonderful exile apparently. So we hope you're having a lovely time. Anybody else on holiday at the moment?
I know who isn't.
Who's watching us or is about to have a holiday.
I know who isn't on holiday, and that's us. We're here in the studio.
In Italia, a holiday season is called the Ferragosto. Ferragosto, if I've pronounced that correctly. Okay, right, fine. It's always good to know. Do you know, I'm a bit disappointed in myself because I started to learn Italian and before we went, and I had every intention to carry it on when we came back, but I haven't. Because you need an incentive, don't you? You need a reason to do something.
Let's be honest.
A motivation.
Let's be honest, Steve. We don't know many Italian people here in England.
So we've got to go to Italy again because I want to learn Italian because I often sing in Italian. And if I was to learn the language properly, my singing would become better, I think. Yeah, I need a reason. We need to book a holiday a long time ahead in Italy, and that will motivate me to then spend half an hour a day just chipping away, just learning some phrases, some vowels, and things like that. So, yes, I will do that. I promise.
There is nothing better if you want to improve your skills or maybe your listening skills. Maybe you are not very good at listening and hearing things that people say. You can always travel to a country that speaks the language that you are interested in learning. So England, for example, you could come to England, you could come here and spend some time. But of course, there are many countries around the world that do speak English as their first or quite often second language. Canada, for example, a lot of people do go to Canada to improve their English, their listening and their communication skills. And of course, we have places like Australia where the accent, some people say that the Australian accent is not easy to understand. But of course, there is a very close connection between Australia and England. So when you think about it, those places are very similar in some ways, but not the weather. That's all I will say.
Maurizio is in Puntala in Tuscany. Puntala in Tuscany, in front of Elba. Oh, I thought you were on Elba. You're in front, so you can see Elba. Oh, I understand. Yesterday, Maurizio was in San Gimignano.
Yeah. We know it very well.
It was raining there, apparently, San Gimignano, where we had a wonderful time with the filming there. We did a live stream during the medieval festival, which was utterly spectacular and captivating. I shall never forget it.
Amazing.
It moved me to tears. I became very emotionally, just out of the blue. I can't understand it. It was like some kind of basal sort of thing going on.
Yes.
It was connecting with me on some level I didn't even understand. Maybe some part of me used to live there or something. I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
Which part? What a particular part of your body? Maybe your legs. Your legs are rather Italian. They look like they could be running in the around the amphitheatre.
So Giovanni is having a lovely holiday.
Anyway, we are coming up towards 3:00. Last Monday it was my birthday. I had a wonderful time, and Mr. Steve gave me an incredible surprise, and we are going to take a look at that surprise right now. I woke up early. Mr. Steve says, "Put your coat on. We are going somewhere.
Yes.
We are now going in the car."
I didn't tell you, did I?
You gave me a few clues, but it was amazing. It was the most wonderful experience that I've had in my life.
Oh.
And now we are going to share it together. Wasn't that absolutely lovely? The most amazing moment of, well, many of the moments I've had in my life, but I have to say that was a very magical moment indeed. Feeding the giraffes at West Midlands Safari Park. I had no idea that that was going to happen. And the thing you can't actually see from those photographs is just how excited I was. I was like a 5-year-old. I got so excited. And there was another family there with a child who was nowhere near as excited as I was. I was more excited than the kid that was there.
You were
feeding them. It was just amazing. I even now, as I'm thinking about it, I feel excited thinking about it.
They're just such lovely creatures. They're a bit like, I don't know. They wouldn't harm you at all. One fascinating fact which I didn't realise about, because we were told a lot by the guide. We were there about 45 minutes before the park opens. You have to go very early before the park opens and plan this in advance. One fascinating fact I didn't realise about giraffes is you always imagine that they're holding their necks up and that they've got big muscles and they must get neck ache. But in fact, they don't. Apparently, the neck is held up by a long, right at the back of their neck, they've got a long length of cartilage or like a ligament, rather, which is stiff, and that keeps the neck up. So they don't have to make any effort to keep the neck up. But when they want to go forward and bring the neck down, that's when they have to use muscles. And then they release the muscles and the neck springs back on its own. So they make no effort at all to keep the neck upright.
So the interesting thing is they're actually forcing against their neck when they move their head down.
It's like a spring, apparently, at the back of the neck. The neck just springs back. They don't have to hold it up in place.
And the other thing we found out about giraffes is they only sleep for 20 minutes every day. And I was a little amazed by that. Apparently they spend a lot of time feeding, eating, and also they stay awake for most of the time. I'm not sure if I could survive with just 20 minutes of sleep every day.
20 minutes, and they sleep standing up.
Yeah, I think it's the other way around with me, Steve. I think I'm asleep for 20 hours every day, and maybe I'm awake for just 2 or 3 hours. So I think it's the other way around with me. I am the reverse of the giraffe. Anyway, I want to say again, Steve, what an amazing time. It was just incredible. I will never forget that experience of offering the little pieces of vegetables to the giraffes, and their huge lips, they go over your fingers, and I could feel their wet mouths.
Majestic, I think, is the word. They're majestic.
Good word.
And they've got lovely big eyelashes. Giovanni Rivetti says, I got watery eyes watching that.
Oh.
Thank you very much. Yeah. You can. Recently there's a video circulating online of, I think somebody, a parent had their baby with them, and the giraffe leant down to feed, but it hooked its mouth around the baby's clothing, and the baby lifted up into the air.
Yes, it was a little kid, and it was offering a big piece of, I think it was celery or a carrot, but the kid didn't let go of it.
Yeah, that's it.
So the giraffe lifted its head up, but the child went with it, and the parents had to grab the child and retrieve it from a great height. So, yeah, they are just wonderful creatures. I can't imagine anyone wanting to hunt them and kill them. I think those people are just disgusting scumbags, to be honest with you. I don't know why you would want to do that. You're not even eating them. You're just using them as a trophy to make yourself.
Nitram has said that the giraffe sleeps for 4 to 6 hours a day. Well, according to our guide, they don't. They only sleep for 20 minutes. So, I don't know.
I would imagine the person that lives with the giraffes might know more about them. I don't know. I might be wrong, but anyway, it still doesn't seem like a long time, even if it is just 4 or 5 hours.
Apparently, they just sort of glaze over.
Because they can't lie down.
Because they can't lie down. Well, they can, but it's very difficult to get up, isn't it?
Well, it makes them vulnerable, you see.
And it makes them very vulnerable, so they very rarely lie down.
They very rarely lie down. They are vulnerable to lots of predators, unfortunately.
There's a lot they don't know about giraffes, so maybe the information, it's always being updated. There was a Canadian scientist, says Palmyra, that spent her whole life studying giraffes, and she's recently died. Don't know who that is, but yes, you could, because there's nothing else like them.
No,
there's nothing else like a giraffe.
They are the nearest that we have to a dinosaur. There is no other animal like the giraffe, so I think it is the nearest animal that you can actually have that's alive, that's very similar to certain types of dinosaur. And I think that's the most amazing thing about them. They are so tall.
And apparently their blood pressure is incredibly high. They have to have special valves in the blood vessels in their neck to make sure that the blood pressure gets sufficiently high for the blood to get to the head. And their legs, apparently the skin on their legs is like some compression stocking. It squeezes the blood back up towards the heart. So, I mean, imagine, I mean, if it's difficult to get the required blood pressure to go to the head of a giraffe, what about these giant dinosaurs? How on earth did they get the blood up to their heads? They must have had gigantic hearts, or maybe 2 hearts or something.
Well, I have to say, even from my own experience, because I'm very tall, I find sometimes it's very hard to get the blood into my legs, and quite often up here in my head the blood completely empties out and there's nothing there. Although some people might say that there's nothing new with that. English Addict is with you, by the way. Thank you very much for joining us. We are with you for a little bit longer. Don't worry, we're not going just yet, because we have today's subject. We are looking at something that happens quite a lot in life, Mr. Steve, when we are offered something, or maybe if we want to make sure something is protected in a certain way. Today we are looking at guarantees, making a guarantee, having a guarantee, some way of having a type of reassurance about something. So we are looking at that subject a little bit later on. So it has been a very busy week for us, hasn't it, Steve? But I suppose the big question is for you, tomorrow, back to work.
I'm back to work. I'm back to work tomorrow. Yes. Dear. It's dreadful. I'm not looking forward to it, Mr. Duncan.
I think secretly Mr. Steve is excited about going back to work, because then he doesn't have to spend time with me. I think so.
I see. I get when I'm not working, I get agitated. I get anxious because I like a routine to my day, and that's what I found when I wasn't working. When I stopped working before, is that I like to get up at a certain time. I like a certain pattern and a routine to my life, and if that's upset even by a holiday, then I think it's different if you're going away on holiday. I think the problem is we've spent too many holidays, and I think it was a bit of a mistake this week to spend time off work but you just stay at home, because it's not really a holiday. If you're away, it doesn't matter if your routine's upset, because you're on holiday, you're away, it doesn't matter. But when you're at home, I don't know. I get a bit sort of anxious, agitated if I'm at home and I'm not doing anything.
Well, this is the main reason, Steve, why you came back out of retirement. So you went into retirement, you realised it wasn't the right time, and then you came out of retirement and took on another job. So, but I don't think in any friendship or relationship, marriage, any type of partnership, I suppose, I think it is healthy to have your distance from each other. But of course, if you have a break, if you have a holiday, maybe it is a better chance for you to actually go off and do something different anyway. We still had a good time, and you gave me one of the most amazing gifts that I've ever received in my life. In fact, you were the first one. You were the first gift that I received on my birthday. Still, Mr.
The booby
Steve,
prize.
I can say that after 35 years, Mr. Steve still works okay. He still functions. One or two things don't work as well as they used to. But after 35 years, I can say that my birthday gift, should I say, my birthday gift is still working quite well. And that is Mr. Steve.
Oh, right. Okay.
What a wonderful gift to receive.
Oh, that's very nice, Mr. Duncan.
That's all right.
I feel the same way. So.
Saturino has just said on the live chat, you can always call in sick. Well, a lot of people do that, don't they, Steve?
Well, the thing is, Saturino, is that I can honestly say I've never ended a holiday and gone back to work thinking, oh, I don't want to go back to work. Maybe after our trip to... I wouldn't say I was looking forward to going back to work, but I won't wake up tomorrow morning thinking, oh, work, back to work.
You won't,
because I actually enjoy my work.
You won't be crying.
I won't be crying. I actually quite like my job. I like the people I work with. I like what I do. I'm in sales, by the way. Somebody asked me, I think Nitram. So I quite like it because I'm independent. I go out. I'm not office-based, so I'm work by myself effectively. I go out, see my customers, and I'm pretty much on my own most of the day. But I'm talking to people, talking to colleagues, seeing customers. So it's quite a free job, really, in that respect. I haven't got anybody looking over my shoulder.
Yes.
Apart from when my manager comes out with me, but he's fine.
So I suppose we've had a good week, but it is also nice to go off and do our separate things. Can I say hello to Andrea Chiambi, who says, hello, Mr. Duncan and Mr. Steve. It is nice to see you live. I have been following you since the very beginning, and I was wondering whether you supported any soccer teams. Well, of course, here in England we call soccer football. I don't follow football. I'm not a person who goes to see football matches, and I don't follow football in any way, really, not even on the television. So I hope that answers your question. But it is nice to see you back with us, joining us live.
Franco Ferrari says that we will have to plan another trip to Italy. Hello, Franco. So yes, we will be going back to Italy. We've promised to go and see Christina up where she lives, up in sort of more the northern part of Italy. And so we will be doing that. The only reason I'm not saying is because in case you don't want other people to know.
No, that's it. We don't want to give too many details about.
I do know where you live. I just
yes,
yeah. So yeah, we will be going back. When, I don't know. I nearly surprised Mr. Duncan with a trip to Paris this week.
Oh, I see.
But I decided against that because with the Olympics on and strikes, do you know, it's so annoying. It always happens at this time of the year.
Yes.
Lots of people striking in the UK, but the baggage handlers at airports always, if If they're going to strike, it's always going to be during August, during the summer holiday.
I tell you who it is. This year, it's the Border Patrol.
The Border Patrol.
The people who check your passports. So
That's
many
it.
of them,
So, yeah.
Many of them are taking industrial action at this time of year. Of course, the reason why they do it is because they know it will cause a lot of disruption. But
yes,
I'm sure we will be going back to Paris at some point, maybe not this year. And of course, we should also start thinking about the next English Addict Rendezvous for next year.
Yes.
So we haven't made any plans yet for that. So we don't exactly know. Well, in fact, we have no idea where it's going to be next year, because I have been asked if we know where it will be, but we don't have any plans for the rendezvous. But there will be one taking place in 2025, which, when you think about it, Steve, it's not very far away, because already we're coming towards, well, I suppose it's mid-August. But you know what happens, don't you, Steve? August comes, and then suddenly it is September, and then at the end of September, you know what people start talking about. Don't mention it.
No.
Don't mention it, because I will probably get very angry. But you know what people start talking about at the end of September. So I'm not ready for that, to be honest. So it will be 2025 in a flash, because time does go by so quickly.
And we'll give you all more notice this year, so that if you have holidays and things like that, you can plan more in advance.
Yes.
So I think we'll probably announce it at the start of next year.
Yes.
So
So
that you've got time.
we will try to include everyone, or as many people as possible, for the rendezvous next year. It will be happening, but at the moment we don't know where it will be.
Am I
Hello.
planning to invest some of my earned money, says Nitram? Well, the only place I put it is into a pension. There's a work pension, and I put extra in.
I suppose it's the only place that's sort of guaranteed. Oh,
Well,
Mr. Oh, wait there, Steve. I don't want to get too
no,
into that.
it's a tax efficient way of doing it in the UK.
Anyway, hello, Aziz. Aziz is here today. It's nice to see you. Rosa is here as well, Mr. Steve. Hello, Rosa. It's lovely to see so many people joining us today. Thank you very much. It's nice
Come to Brazil.
We also have Bella, who says, please come to Brazil, please. Well, who knows? Who knows? The only problem is, we were saying this, weren't we, Steve? The only problem is, you and I, as you saw from those photographs earlier, when you saw us in our young days, well, we do find it a little bit tiring, don't we, when we travel a long way?
Well, Beatrice knows all about that.
No, yes, I'm sure. But for us, because we're getting on a bit, because we're getting older, we do find it very tiring travelling long distances, especially by plane. So maybe at some point, if they can find a way of maybe putting you to sleep whilst the flight is taking place, because we've got some friends who are actually in Australia at the moment, aren't they, Steve? Sonia and Brent.
Yes.
And I have to say, I admire them just because they were able to stay on a plane for all those hours. I think I would go completely crazy doing that.
I think I would. I don't think I would like to travel, because I think it's probably 20 hours to Australia or more, isn't it?
It's over 30 hours.
Good grief.
Because you have to sometimes take a break. Now, I remember about 3 years ago there was a flight that I think it was one of these really huge jumbo jets, and it flew all the way to Australia from the UK. I can't remember how long it took, but it would be many, many hours. It would be over 24 hours in an aeroplane. I could not do that. I think I would go completely crazy. So I think it's safe to say next year the rendezvous will not be in Australia.
We could go by balloon or by boat.
Ooh.
Take a nice leisurely 3-month trip where they used to send the criminals from Portsmouth or wherever it was to Australia. If you'd committed any crime, you were sent to Australia back in the day.
Well, do you remember in the 1970s they were offering tickets for people to go to Australia to set up their lives there, and I think it was £10, if I remember. You could go to Australia for £10, but you had to go there to live because they were still trying to build up the population in Australia. So even as late as the 1970s, they were trying to encourage people to go to Australia to live.
I mean, we always think of Australia as being very strict when it comes to immigration, which they are.
It certainly is now.
It's very strict, but they still have an awful lot of immigration. It's legal immigration, whereas we have a lot of illegal immigration in this country, as do a lot of places in Europe. But of course, it's very difficult to get in a boat and go across to Australia. So it's very easy for Australian government to regulate who comes to their country. But they do have an awful lot of people. They want and encourage still. I think I read some incredible figure that something like 20 or 30% of the population are immigrants in Australia, and I mean, they're paying a lot of money for certain.
Yeah, can I just stop you there, Steve? Well, of course, most Australians living there are immigrants because most of them came from Britain.
Yeah, I know that, but that's hundreds of years ago.
Oh, I see.
I'm on about now. But they certain key skills, like they want doctors. Lots of doctors and nurses, and if you are a doctor in the UK and you go and live in Australia, I think you get 2 or 3 times the pay. And a lot of doctors are going from the UK, going to Australia.
So particular skills, they are always asking for people to go there to work in particular fields or to certain types of skills. But it is incredibly difficult. If Mr. Steve and myself wanted to move to Australia, we would have to make sure that we filled a lot of criteria to go there. And of course, they also need you to have lots of money as well, so you can increase their economy. But yes, I think it is quite interesting.
Giovanni, I'm not sure whether do you think, Mr. Duncan, it is offensive to describe an Australian person as a man from down there? No, from down under, we would say.
We normally say down under.
Are you from down under?
Yes.
Is not offensive, no.
No. It just means that Australia, we always made a joke, didn't we? I always remember growing up, we always thought everyone was upside down in Australia because, of course, Australia is kind of on the other side of the world. We always think of it being at the bottom, but it isn't. It's more sort of there, and we're kind of there. But it is technically still the other side of the world. But we always think of them as being down under, which is why we refer to it as that. And Australians call us POMs because POM means potato. So they think that the British people or a British person, a typical British person, would always eat potatoes. So we are often referred to as POMs.
Just as the Americans used to call us limeys, because we used to eat limes to stop the scurvy, to get the vitamin C. And so that they used to call us limeys because they've discovered that you had to ward off scurvy and losing all your teeth, and you have to carry vitamin C like a citrus fruit. Yeah. So they carried limes in the boats that went across.
I don't think they refer to us as that anymore, but down under is still used, and also Aussie as well. We often describe a person who lives in Australia as an Aussie, and they still call us Pommies for the same reason, because they still think we eat nothing but potatoes.
We always get this impression that Australians are all very tough and brash, because from films and TV, the impression, certainly in the UK, that we always have of Australians, particularly Australian men, is that they're very macho, very manly, very aggressive, and call a spade,
tough.
and
Tough. That's it.
Tough, because
Like,
of course they probably are. Because
I blame Paul Hogan, because he, of course, very much in the 1980s. I remember halfway through the 1980s, suddenly everyone went crazy about Australia. We had Paul Hogan, who of course played Crocodile Dundee. He was there for a few months and then he vanished completely. He had 2 movies and then seemed to disappear without trace. So there was a very big trend towards all things Australia during the 1980s.
that famous, yes, Crocodile Dundee. That's not a knife. That's a knife. Obviously, that's not in that accent.
No,
That was a good line.
What was that accent, Steve?
I don't know.
You
Nitram
call
says
that a
there is.
knife?
Nitram says there's no down under. The Earth is flat.
Well, let's not go there.
I know, he's joking.
Well, I did guess that, Steve. I didn't think that our viewers would really think that the Earth was flat.
But there are some people, aren't there? There's the
Well,
Flat Earth Society.
Yes, I know.
Some people think the Earth really is flat.
Yes. Well, they are what we call nutters. They are nutters. That's what we call them.
Well, the thing is, you see, human beings can believe a lot of things, even when the evidence is obviously against what they believe. They
Okay,
will still carry on believing it anyway.
I know where you're going with this, Steve. We're not going there. I know what you're going with.
We're susceptible to believing in things without any evidence. We're very
anyway.
susceptible to that.
Yes, you've said that 3 times now. Anyway, we're not going there.
Because sometimes you just want to believe in something. Whether it's true or not, you just want to believe.
Yes. Okay. Anyway, we're not doing that now.
I'd love to.
Because we have something else to talk about in a few moments. We are talking about guarantees. Having a guarantee. Something that you can be sure of. Maybe if you buy something, you have to make sure that that thing will last for a long time. We often look for some sort of reassurance by having a guarantee. And that is today's subject. English Addict is with you today. I hope you are having a good Sunday. We are here. Are you there? That is the big question. Please let us know on the live chat. If you are there watching at the moment, please let us know. It is myself, Mr. Duncan, and also we have Mr. Steve here today.
By the way, Tom Rocks, your question will be from earlier will be answered shortly.
Oh, what question is that?
It's as I say, will be answered shortly.
Oh,
because the answer to your question will be contained within the information that Mr. Duncan will present on the subject.
I'm fascinated to find out what it is myself. I might actually go upstairs and watch this live stream and see what happens next, because now I'm very intrigued. Today we are looking at an interesting subject, Mr. Steve. When we buy something, when we purchase something, or if we want to be sure of something, quite often we will ask for some type of reassurance, some type of, I suppose the word we are looking for is, and you know what the word is, guarantee. You are looking for some sort of reassurance to say that that thing can be trusted or that thing is reliable. So quite often, Mr. Steve, when we talk about guarantee, we are talking about a type of assurance. And that's an interesting word. Now, I like the word assure because it sounds a little bit like insure. So you have insurance and you can have assurance. And there is a difference between those two words, isn't there?
Yeah, go on, Mr. Duncan.
Well, insurance is a protection. If something happens, you will be somehow compensated for it. When we talk about assurance, we mean that you are being told that something is in place or something will happen if another thing occurs. So they are very similar, however, they are also different from each other. So to insure something is to protect it. To assure something is to be certain that it is so. So there is a difference between those two things, which is the reason why we use the word guarantee, and we describe it quite often as an assurance that is given. So you are saying, don't worry, trust me, the thing that I'm selling is very good quality. It is my guarantee. I am giving you my assurance.
Yes, I'm giving you, yes, somebody says to you, will you be on time for the wedding? And you might say, well, I assure you I will be. I assure you that I will be there on time for the wedding. Or if one of my customers says to me, can you get me some information on that product? And I say yes, and they might say, well, when can you get it by? And I say, well, I'll get it by next Tuesday. They might say, well, are you sure? And I'll say, yes, I assure you I will get you that information by next Tuesday.
And you could also say that that is a type of guarantee, because you are telling that person that thing will definitely happen.
A verbal guarantee in that case, it would be a verbal one.
Yes, so it is interesting that we can use the word guarantee in many areas of life. Moving on, to assure before a transaction takes place. So when we think of guarantees, Steve, we often think of moments where we are purchasing something, we are buying something, so you are giving money and you are receiving something in exchange, but you need to make sure that that thing will work. Or if there is a problem with that thing, they will help you. The person who sold it to you will help you in some way. Can you think of anything, Mr. Steve, that you've bought recently that might have or might require a type of guarantee?
Yes, a lot of things by law actually have to have a guarantee with them these days, like a car, for example. I don't think a manufacturer can sell a car without some kind of guarantee, and those vary. Most electrical goods, most things you buy, electrical goods, something that's got the potential to go wrong,
yes,
will normally carry a guarantee of some sort, and it gives you an indication of the quality of that product quite often, because the longer the guarantee, you would rightly assume that that product might be of a higher quality. And some companies will offer longer guarantees on their cars. For example, you would think that, I mean, most German manufacturers, most cars have a 3-year warranty on them that are sold in the UK.
So that's quite interesting. So within 3 years, I suppose a lot of things can go wrong with a car that is not necessarily because you've been using the car. So this is something that can happen quite often. So that's probably the reason why you will have a guarantee for 3 years when you buy a new car. First of all, they're very expensive, so you are spending a lot of money on the car, so you have to make sure it will work. So I think 3 years is a good period of time. So if anything will go wrong, something wasn't made properly, or maybe part of the car is faulty, it doesn't work properly, 3 years gives you a lot of cover for that period of time.
So if the engine gearbox breaks, you know that you're covered by the guarantee, and if it's a well-known manufacturer, you can take it back to the dealership and they will, by law, have to fix it for you. And there's no guarantee when they're going to fix it. They just will fix it for you for free. I mean, you might have to wait weeks or months to get the part if the part isn't available. But I mean, some manufacturers like Hyundai, for example, and Kia, I think, offer a 7-year warranty.
That's amazing.
On their cars. So
their guarantee will last for 7 years, and that's if something goes wrong.
Yeah, and yes, I don't know if there's an upper limit on mileage for that, but I mean, a typical car in the UK, it's 3 years, 60,000 miles of mileage.
Well, that's interesting as well. So it's not just the period of time, but maybe the amount of wear that you've actually got out of that car.
With a car, yeah. So if you do
interesting.
A high mileage, 20,000 miles a year would be is way above the average mileage for somebody. But it means the guarantee runs out at 3 years. Even if you'd only done 10,000 miles, the guarantees would have run out, and you'd be doing even after 10,000 miles. But anything. I mean, your computer, a laptop, anything's got most things, most sort of consumer products. Am I not right, Mr. Duncan? Come with a 1-year guarantee normally.
Yes. In this country, for example, you have quite often 12 months guarantee automatically. But also you have a kind of guarantee where if you change your mind, or if you want to return that thing, you normally have around about 28 days to return something. But of course, there are certain conditions that come with that.
Yes.
But 12 months is the average for anything that you buy, especially, as Steve just said, electrical things. Because if there is one type of device, one type of thing that is guaranteed to go wrong, and that's the reason why you need a guarantee, just in case it does break down, electrical devices, computers, televisions, anything that is mechanical, quite often there is a chance that it might break down in a short period of time after buying it.
Quite often the more expensive the product, the longer the guarantee. So if you buy a house in the UK, you get 25-year building guarantee. It's 20 years or 25 years that if cracks appear or tiles fall off the roof, then the structure of the house is guaranteed for, I think it's 20 years or 25, I can't remember.
Yeah, I suppose a house is a very, in fact, again, that's a very good one, because a house is a very unusual thing to buy when you think about it. It does seem like a crazy thing to do, because you're buying something, bricks, mortar, the electrics, all sorts of things in that house can go wrong.
Of course.
So if you buy a brand new house that's just being built, you do need some sort of reassurance, some sort of guarantee to say that everything will be fine for a long period of time.
Well, yes, that's it. There are Trumong has pointed out that normally if you buy things from Japan, the guarantee, you probably won't even need the guarantee, because we know Japanese cars are very, very reliable. And go on and on and on and on. That's why they became very popular here, because they were known for their reliability, very good reliability, whereas some manufacturers from a country not too far from here have very poor reputations for reliability.
You are not talking about French cars.
Unfortunately, French cars have a very bad reputation for reliability compared to other makes. I used to have a Renault. In one of my jobs going back quite a number of years now, they always gave us Renaults. And we always used to laugh, because after 40,000 miles, they just fell apart. I'm not disparaging French cars, but they do have a reputation for poor electrics, as do, unfortunately, Fiats, or at least they used to.
Yes, well, that's not French.
No, that's Italian.
Oh, no.
Of course.
But
of course,
Mr.
Duncan, let me balance that by saying that British cars back in the 90s, because Britain doesn't have we don't manufacture our own cars anymore.
We don't.
We only manufacture cars on behalf of other companies now.
Yes.
We don't have our own manufacturing base.
No,
I mean, there's
right.
Jaguar, there's small manufacturers,
Okay.
but not big ones.
We need to hurry up, Steve.
British Leyland, Rover, MG used to have appalling reputations for reliability back in the 70s and 80s.
Well, I remember,
and that's why they went out of business.
Steve, okay. Steve gets so excited when he gets onto cars.
Oh, yes, I do.
Yes, I do remember. There was a company called British Leyland, and they were well known. Well, they were well known for two things. One was their cars were not great, and the other thing, they were always going on strike.
They were always going on strike. Quality was poor, and that's why we don't have a British car industry anymore.
So I am sad to say we don't make our own cars in this country. We do make them on behalf of other countries.
Toyota, Nissan.
Anyway, away from cars now, Mr. Steve. We've got to move on because we have a lot still to look at. So quite often when you buy something, you will be given a guarantee to say that thing will work for a certain period of time. You might also have something presented to you as security. So this is interesting as well. So maybe if you want something, you want to buy something, or maybe you want to assure yourself of something happening, maybe you will present a guarantee as a type of security. So again, it's a little bit like assurance. You are comfortable with that thing. You are sure that if something goes wrong, they will fix it. So there are many ways of using guarantees. One person can guarantee another person for something. Here we go, Steve. This is the word. I think this is the word that you wanted to see earlier. You issue a warranty of assurance. So the word that Steve used just now, a few moments ago, warranty.
Warranty. That was the question that Tom Rocks answered. Is warranty the same as guarantee? Essentially, it is. I would say.
So you will have a warranty quite often. As Steve mentioned a few moments ago, if you buy a very expensive item, there will always be some sort of warranty that comes with it, whether that's a car or maybe a very expensive computer or a house, for example. You have to have some sort of warranty. So that is the same as a guarantee. It is making sure that you are somehow covered. You are covered. So you can be assured, you can relax and rest knowing that that thing has a guarantee. So as a verb, to give an assurance to someone. So to maybe help someone relax. Maybe you are trying to calm them down. Maybe a person is worried that you won't come to their birthday party, perhaps. You have to give them some sort of guarantee. I will definitely be there. So you give assurance to someone. And that is what a guarantee does. So as a verb, we often use guarantee as a verb. And of course, we can use it as a noun as well. So as a noun, we have to have some sort of proof, something you can show that proves that there is a guarantee. So as a noun, it is the proof of assurance. So it is the actual thing that says this item is guaranteed. Proof of assurance. Quite often we refer to it as the receipt, or maybe you have a separate thing, don't you, Steve?
Yes, like you mean a certificate?
Yes.
You might have a certificate. You might have, certain things like, when you buy certain electrical items, for example, you often need to fill in a form, don't you, and send it off to the manufacturers so that they've got a record of you. But how many people bother to do that these days, I wonder? You might have to do it online now, of course. But I can't remember the last time I bothered when I bought anything to actually, like an electrical item for the home, when I last bothered to fill in those guarantee or warranty forms online.
If it's something cheap, most people don't worry too much, because you think, if this thing breaks, I can just throw it away and buy another one. But if you spend a lot of money on something, then you will need a type of guarantee or some sort of receipt, or maybe a piece of paper that shows that that thing has a guarantee. So we can use the word guarantee as both a verb and a noun. A person can offer to be a guarantee. As I said a few moments ago, a person can put themselves forward as security in a certain situation. Maybe, now I remember I had a friend, Steve, his name is Jeff, and he was crazy about cars, and he was always selling cars and buying new cars. And I remember he wanted to go to the bank to buy a car. And normally when you borrow money, Steve, there are two things you have to make sure of. One, you have to make sure that you can repay the money eventually. But normally we also have something that is there just in case you can't pay the money back. So normally another person will be marked, or their name will be given. We often refer to this as a guarantor. So there it is on the screen now. So a very interesting word.
A person that's acting as a backup. If the first person can't repay the loan, somebody else is named. Could be the father or the mother of somebody, and they are then guaranteeing to pay that loan, for example, if it is a loan, if the first person that took it out isn't able to do so.
So it is possible to put yourself forward as something called a guarantor. That means the person is saying, if that person can't pay the money, I will step in. I will pay the money instead. It's a very brave thing to do.
Faribort says, is that like collateral? Yes, in a way that person is acting as collateral, but normally collateral is like a physical thing. So you might give somebody access you might give somebody access to, for example, the collateral when you take out a mortgage is the house itself. So if you fail to keep up the repayments on the mortgage, the mortgage company can take that house and sell it to get the money back.
Yes.
And
So
that's collateral.
So it's interesting, whenever you borrow money, you have to make sure that you do have the money or something of equal value that then they can take from you if you can't pay the money. It's an interesting thing. In fact, Pedro, hello Pedro Belmont, says to borrow money from the bank, first of all, you should prove that you don't need the money. And that is actually a very good way of looking at it. Because no bank will give you money, will they, Steve, unless they know that they will get the money back. So that is the reason why if you are buying something expensive. So Steve made a very good point there. That's what it is. If you buy a house, the value of the house is then the guarantee. So if you can't pay all the money back, the bank will take the house from you, and now they have the money.
The house is acting as collateral,
And you have no house.
protection for the mortgage company. And if you're borrowing money from a bank for something else, say you want to do some house improvements or buy a car, again, there may be terms written into the guarantee for the bank that they will be able to take the car and sell it if you can't repay the loan,
Catherine.
for example.
Hello, Catherine. I acted as a guarantor for my grown-up daughter for her to be able to rent an apartment. That is another thing.
That's a good one.
Good one. So maybe you are not buying something. Maybe you are just renting something, especially if you are renting a property, a flat or an apartment. There needs to be another person there named who will help to pay the rent if for some reason maybe 1 month the person renting the house cannot pay. So there will always be some sort of guarantee. So that person, Catherine, for example, is the guarantor. They are saying, I will help, I will pay if the other person cannot. So I think it's I have to say, it is a very big responsibility. I don't think I would like to do it.
No, exactly. I've been asked to do it before and I've refused because, you don't want the bank calling you up if a friend of yours fails to pay, loses his job or she loses her job, and you don't want to be the one having to foot the bill. So parents often do it, of course, for their children, like the example we've got here. They might be starting off in their first job, but then, of course, the job might not last very long, but the parent is there as a guarantor for the rental company that the bills will be paid.
You are right, of course, Steve. It is normally a family member, mother, father.
Quite often, but I have been asked.
Quite often the father.
I've been asked before to be a guarantor of just such a thing for somebody renting a house, and I've refused because I didn't trust them. I knew them, and I thought, well, they're always changing their jobs. That's too much of a risk.
I think so.
Far too much of a risk.
Moving on, Steve.
By the way, Bella, very quickly, Rolls-Royce is not British owned. It's owned by VW now, Volkswagen.
Yeah. We don't have any British cars now.
Even Jaguar is owned by Tata, the Indian steel company.
Yes.
So no, we don't have any, apart from very small ones, very, very small niche manufacturers. I think even Lotus is Lotus is owned by Russian somebody from Russia.
So technically, we don't actually make our own cars anymore here.
Not any volume cars,
which is sad.
Yes.
Hello, Matt. Matt is here. I believe you're watching in Canada. I have noticed the little maple leaf next to your name. I haven't watched you for a long time. Wow. You finally got your YouTube plaque. Yes, there it is in the corner of the studio. My lovely gold plaque from YouTube for reaching 1 million subscribers. It only took 18 years to do it. Nice to see you back, Matt. It's always nice to see some of our earlier viewers, especially if you come back for more of this. I suppose the question is why.
Land Rover, Matt, I'm sure that's owned by Tata as well.
So not,
or is
not,
it BMW?
Oh, I see.
I can't remember now. I think BMW bought them off Tata. I think you can look it up. I can't remember that one.
Yes.
But that's not a mass manufacturer. But anyway, yeah. Right, carry on, Mr. Duncan.
So we're not saying Tata for now. We're saying Tata, which is an Indian company. They make steel. So don't confuse those two things. A purchased item normally has a guarantee. Sometimes when you buy something, you want to make sure that there is a guarantee with that thing. These days, of course, it is possible to buy things and maybe the guarantee is only for a short time. And of course, sometimes there are limits to the guarantee as well. So there might be certain things that they will not repair or replace. So you do have to be careful.
Yes. So, for example, with a car, certain things are not covered by the manufacturer's warranty, like brake pads
and tyres.
And tyres, for example, because they're wear items, so then they're not covered by the guarantee.
So quite often a guarantee will cover things that are the fault of the manufacturer, not because of you using that thing. Talking of using something, maybe something that you are buying that another person has already used. Sometimes a used item will have a short guarantee as well. Maybe a second-hand car, a used car, or maybe a computer that has been refurbished or renewed. So it is often the case that you can have a guarantee even if something has already been used. A warranty, the word we used earlier, a warranty is a guarantee of quality. So basically, it is the same thing. A guarantee is a warranty. It is covering you for a certain amount of time in case something goes wrong. As we just said, Steve, there are often limits included with certain types of guarantee. Maybe a certain period of time. We often describe it as a limited warranty. So Mr. Steve's example just of a car is a good one because certain parts of the car will wear as you use it. So those things will not be covered by the guarantee. And finally, a time limit will be fixed to the warranty. So as Steve said earlier, you can have maybe 3 years, maybe in some cases, if you buy an expensive thing, 7 years, which I think is amazing if you can buy something and they guarantee it. Of course, there is something else you can do, isn't there, Steve? You can extend the guarantee by paying extra money as well.
Quite often, those are for electrical goods. If you've bought something electrical, like a TV, for example, often as the year guarantee comes to an end, the manufacturer will try to sell you, or a washing machine, will try to sell you extended warranty on that product. And it's often very expensive. And you have to weigh up in your mind whether you think that product, whether you're going to get whether you're going to get the money back on that. So if you spend £25, or I think it's more than that, something like if you want to extend the warranty on a washing machine, it's probably going to cost you another £100 or something. And you've got to work out in your mind then, am I going to get that money back? Is it worth it?
Yes.
And to my mind, if they're willing to sell you that guarantee, they're probably quite confident that they're never going to have to pay out on it.
Yes, it's strange. That's an interesting way of looking at it. So the more sure a person is that their item is good and reliable, the more likely they are to sell you a warranty.
Yes.
Which means then they are also making a little bit of extra money as well.
That's right.
So some of it will go to the insurance company, but some of it, of course, will be kept by the person selling the warranty with the item to you.
I think it's worth it for certain things, like a car. So when I bought this car I've got now, when I left the current company, it was 4 years old. So I'd been using it. It had done about 50,000 miles. And I bought it second hand off the lease company for a good price, as you'd imagine. But I was concerned that car was 4 years old. Anything can go wrong in a car, can't it? It could be very expensive to repair. I mean, a gearbox, you're looking at thousands, or parts of the engine, the labour. So I did take out on that car a 3-year extended warranty on it, which I didn't think was very expensive. It only cost me £300 for 3 years cover that covers everything. So I think for certain things it's worth taking that out, but I don't think it's worth taking it out for something like a TV depends how much you use a washing machine, but a certain item like a car, it's worth it, I think.
Yes, the more expensive the item, the better it is to take out some sort of extended guarantee. So I think we have covered almost everything there is to talk about with guarantees. And one thing I can guarantee now is that we will be with you again next Sunday. Do you like that?
Very good, Mr. Duncan.
You see, sometimes it all comes together. It really does. So I can guarantee that next Sunday we will be here together. What will we be talking about? I have no idea at the moment, but I'm sure I will come up with something. I'm pleased to say that my stomach is much better. I did mention earlier, Steve, about my bad stomach. I don't know what was going on. Do you know what I think it was, Steve? I think somewhere in the house, and this is something that we were talking about last week, I think there was a fly somewhere in the house buzzing around, and I think it landed on some food and had a little poop, and I think that's what's happened. So flies, these things here, look at that one, that's a big one.
That's a big fly, Mr. Duncan.
So don't worry, that is not on your screen. So don't try to get rid of it, because it's on my video, so don't worry about that. So please don't get something and start beating your mobile device with it, because that is not a real fly. But I think that's where I got it from. I think I picked up a stomach bug from one of those horrible, annoying flies. Thank you, Mr. Steve.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan. Yes, it's been enjoyable. It's been an enjoyable hour and a half for me.
And
an hour and 35 minutes.
And a super duper 2 hours for me.
And I hope I've enjoyed your company. I hope you've enjoyed it too. And I look forward to seeing you all again next week.
And it has been a great week as well. We've spent a little bit of time off together, and Mr. Steve gave me the most amazing time as well last Monday on my birthday. Thank you, Mr. Steve, and we will see you again next Sunday.
Bye.
There he goes. That was Mr. Steve. Every Sunday he is with us. He's wearing his shorts today, by the way, because it's very hot here in the studio. Thank you very much for your company. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. We have talked about a lot of things today. We have got through many, many things. You can watch this again later on with captions. Later there will be captions, so maybe later today or early tomorrow there will be captions, and you can watch this as many times as you like. Talking of which, please give me a lovely like as well. If you like what you see, please give me one of these. They are very, very valuable. Thank you very much for watching. See you again soon. I might be with you on Wednesday, but I am going to be busy over the next couple of days making new lessons. So my little break is over. I now have to go back to work. But don't worry, because I enjoy doing it. Thank you very much for your company. See you later, catch you soon, and of course, until the next time we meet here on YouTube, right here, live, you know what's coming next. Enjoy the rest of your week. Have a super duper time. Stay happy and stay safe. And of course, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Ta-ta for now. Have a great week.